Thank you for joining us. We are at the Greater Miami Jewish Federation annual community-wide fundraising event, Super Sunday, combined with Good Deeds Day. Shari Arison once said, "In order to make a difference in the world and to make the world a better place for all of us, we need a critical mass of people who think good and do good and make a difference together." We'll meet Shari Arison following these messages. With us now is Shari Arison. Shari, it's such a pleasure to be with you again.
Pleasure to be here.
It's been quite a few years. You know, what an amazing idea this Good Deeds Day is. With so many problems everywhere in the world, and very few events really unite people everywhere. There's so many festivities that are for one interest group or another, but Good Deeds Day really should become an international holiday. How did you come up with this wonderful idea?
Well, what's amazing is it's already become an international holiday. We're already in 50 different countries. Here in the United States, we're in 29 different regions. Started in Israel 8 years ago from a small idea that everyone can do a good deed for the benefit of others, each one in their own way, each one according to their heart's desire. And in Israel, coming Tuesday, 520,000 people will be going out in 8,000 projects, all cultural backgrounds, all ages.
Fascinating, what an achievement. Please share with our audience your concept of values-driven business.
Well, I really believe that you can do business, but you can do good business, that really gives benefit to people and the planet. So for instance, in Bank Hapoalim, the largest bank in Israel, we lead with the vision of financial freedom. The idea is to give the awareness, the education, and the tools for people to reach their own financial freedom, to grow and prosper and make the right decisions, the right choices. Shikun and Binui, which we lead with the largest infrastructure and real estate company, which builds all over the world, you know, roads, bridges, highways, real estate projects. We lead 100% sustainable. We build in a way that not only doesn't harm the environment, but it benefits the environment, taking into consideration everything from people to plants to animals. So we really can benefit our planet in that way. Mia is a company that I started which brings an abundant amount of water. We have water in the world, we just need to be more efficient. And with technology, we reduce water loss in a way that brings millions of people water to people that didn't have access to clean drinking water before. So you can do business and still add values and benefit people and the planet.
All such essential causes.
Yes.
On top of everything, you wrote a best-selling book.
Yes.
Where spirituality meets materialism. Tell us about it.
Well, there's 2 books that came out, actually 3 books that came out already. The one you're talking about is Birth, when the spiritual and the material come together. And it's really about my spiritual journey and my business journey. However, a recent book that came out is Activate Your Goodness, which was instantly a New York Times bestseller. It was translated to Hebrew, became a bestseller in Israel immediately, and it's been translated to 20 different languages and distributed to 40 different countries, including all the Arabic countries. In that book, it talks about how we can do good for ourselves, our families, our workplaces, our communities, our countries, and our planet, all circles of life.
There are so many successful people in the world. However, I can't think of any who reach the extent of good that you're trying to do, the difference you're trying to make in the world. Please explain what motivates you.
Well, I've always cared about people, I've always cared about the planet, and I believe that, you know, I always say we're one humanity, we're one planet. If we want to see a good future for all of us, we need to create that future. I try to do my part, and with the messages that I relay, I encourage people to do their part, because I believe that together we can really make a difference and we can create the kind of future, a good future that we all want to see.
Again, I come back to my first question, which is, with all of the fragmentation that our world experiences with people in different interest groups, what more can be done to make Good Deeds Day become a universal a worldwide holiday that actually becomes an official holiday perhaps throughout the world?
Well, like I said, we're already in 50 different countries. More and more people are going out. I started a social network called GoodNet, goodnet.org, which has already united 6 million people with 500,000 a month joining, again, around doing good in every field, health, education, the environment, really all walks of life. And I really believe that in order to unite people, we need to connect to our core values. We all care about being healthy. We all want to be happy. We all want to prosper and grow. We basically all want the same things, and I think if we connect on those basic values, and that's why Good Deed Day works, because we're all connecting to doing good, and each one can connect to it in their own unique way. So some people go and help the elderly, and other people work with children, and other people create public artworks or clean beaches or clean parks. So each one can do a good thing, each one in their own way.
The United Nations represented such hope for the world years ago, but is a great disappointment to many. Yet your initiative really has the right spirit and everything, and really should be what's out there, and maybe we turn the United Nations building in New York into a nice condo.
Well, I'll tell you, we're growing. This year in New York, we had a call to action at NASDAQ. We were at the closing bell in NASDAQ and for Good Deeds Day, and it was a call to action for all businesses around the world to do good. And we went on a Good Deeds Day bus all around New York City. And like I said, it's growing. I think it's just step by step. We need to be patient, connect the people that are doing good, and create a critical mass of goodness in the world.
There's so many volunteers right here at Federation, but worldwide many people involved in Good Deeds Day. How many volunteer hours are there total?
Well, it's amazing. First of all, hundreds of thousands of people are going out. And what's really amazing is this year, the 8th year of Good Deeds Day, we have 2 million hours of volunteering. And it's amazing because the message really is that a good deed can even be a smile that brightens someone else's day, or buying a coworker a cup of coffee. It doesn't have to be really difficult things. But some people want to volunteer their time. And like I said, this year, 2 million hours of volunteering, which is quite amazing. We're growing every year, and think about the impact of 2 million hours of volunteering, thousands of projects around the world. It really makes a difference.
Another gift to the world from Israel, Tikkun Olam. How interesting.
Yes. And I always say it was important for me that we start in Israel. And what's amazing in Israel is, like I said, it's crossed all cultures. We have the entire Arabic community, the Haredi community, religious, non-religious. We have children in schools. We have a project called Change by Design, something we adopted from India. It's in the school system in Israel, where kids invent what they want to see to better the world, and they play it out on Good Deeds Day. They actually invent different things. So it's amazing to see how it's grown and the circles have grown.
A common denominator for everyone.
Yes.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Many people in our audience would like to learn more about Good Deeds Day. What's the website? GoodDeedsDay.com. You can go, get stories, make pledges to do a good deed. And really, there's Good Deeds Day, but you could do a good deed all year round. GoodDeedsDay.com. And you, Shari, are such an inspiration. Again, as I said, so many people in the world who are successful are busy playing golf and maybe not that concerned with the world around them, but you dedicate so much of your energy and resources to making a difference in the world. Please again share with our audience why you are such an idealist.
Well, like I said, I think if we want to see a good future, we need to create the kind of future that we want to see. And I feel that each one has the responsibility to take their part, and I do my part. And really, thankfully, I have businesses, I have philanthropy, and I try to do good in everything, in every field of business, in the philanthropic side, through the books that I write, and within my family and my community.
This has been most interesting. I want to thank you very, very much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
It's fantastic. We'll do some more in the future, I hope.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
There are so many people who need our help every day, and this is just one day when the whole world gets together to feed people who are hungry and help people who need it. It's to show we love and we love to care. And do you like being here, kids?
Yes, we're actually having a lot of fun.
Why do you
It's
like
a great
being here?
time. It's a great time to help and also have fun with our friends.
So we came here today to make macaroni and cheese. We're going to feed people so that they have a meal. And all these ingredients are going to give them energy and nourishment so that they can continue to smile and live healthy lives.
We are putting macaroni and cheese in bags so we can serve them to the homeless people.
I think it's really a big mitzvah to come here and help other people put together these packages of food with people that are not fortunate enough as we are, that we should always be giving back and helping and making a difference in the world. It's really important, and that's why I bring all my kids here and do this whenever we have the opportunity.
I see a gentleman schlepping a large sack. Let's see what he's up to. What are you schlepping here?
I have soy here, sir. We're putting the soy with the macaroni and cheese for nourishment and health. Big 50-pound bags.
How long would it take someone to eat all of that?
Quite a while, but since we're delivering 30,000 packages, this will go a long way.
With us now is Rabbi Arnold Samlan, Executive Director of the Central Agency for Jewish Education. So it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Actually, it's now called the Center for the Advancement of Jewish Education. Underwent a name change a number of years ago, but still the same initials, and it's a pleasure to be here.
It's interesting. Names change. Back in the day when I first came to the United States, it was Central Agency for Jewish Education, and I interviewed Abe Gittleson, a wonderful man. But I'm so glad to be here today. What are the challenges currently of your organization as they've evolved over these decades?
We are much more working strategically in the direction of how do we raise the entire level and caliber of Jewish education across the board. We still continue to do some of our flagship programs, such as the March of the Living. We've added new programs such as the Diller Teen Fellows Program, which is a wonderful leadership development program. But increasingly our work is also in the area of how do we increase the sustainability, viability, and reach of day school education, of synagogue education, raising the level of leadership in early childhood education, and continuing to reach out to the teen market and to the adult learning markets, and again, to raise both the reach of those and the quality of those.
What is your organization's relationship within Federation?
We are now a full subsidiary agency of the Greater Miami Jewish Federation. It enables us to leverage the leadership and the resources of the Jewish Federation, while also allowing us to focus more and more of our energies directly on the programs and services we provide. It is a new relationship and one that is working beautifully on all sides.
All very essential, of course. I must ask you this question. How is it funded?
A significant part of our work is funded through the annual campaign of Greater Miami Jewish Federation. Smaller amounts, but important amounts, are part of user fees, and we are very fortunate to have a group of donors who help us, particularly in supporting some of the major programs such as Miami Jewish Film Festival, March of the Living, and our adult learning opportunities.
This has been very interesting. Thank you so very much, Rabbi.
My pleasure. Great to meet you, and glad that you're part of this Super Sunday activity here.
Me too. Thank you, sir. In the middle of this event for Super Sunday at the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, there's an emergency. A suspicious object was found in a tent while people are trying to help the needy all over this area. Somebody has left an item that the police feel is suspicious, and there's a bit of an emergency here. What's your thought on that?
I think it's good that we are taking precautions to check it out, to see what's going on, and most likely I believe it's probably nothing.
Hopefully that's the case, but the police are bringing a bomb squad actually to the Federation building to check it out. Better safe than sorry.
For sure, better safe than sorry. I think we need to take precautions and exercise extreme care and concern. We have to look after our people. We're under threat all the time, and today is a very noticeable day for us in our community, and we are here. So I am happy to know that our safety and well-being is being taken seriously by our community, and hopefully it'll be much ado about nothing.
Hopefully. With us now is Barbara Black Goldfarb. It's a real pleasure to have you on the Shalom Show.
Thank you. Thank you.
We just did an interview with Shari Arison at the Federation. It's inspiring to see these community events and the fundraising and the good deeds that the community is doing in supporting those who need assistance, whether it's the elderly or impoverished and other, and of course in education and culture. Tell us a little bit more about what Federation is doing generally at this time.
Well, the Federation is really the safety net of the Jewish community. That's how we like to talk about it. And our Federation, like federations around the country, support local needs, and you said it, social services like feeding the elderly or transportation for the elderly, or our Jewish community centers, or our Jewish day schools, or our congregational schools, et cetera, our Hillels on the campus. And in addition to that, we fund programs in Israel, and we fund programs in Jewish communities all around the world, all around the globe.
So whereas this federation really focuses largely on local concerns and needs, it is interesting that the event just recently, the Good Deeds Day event, included in the Federation Super Sunday fundraising, is really a worldwide event and is now expanding more and more. Tell us a little bit of your thoughts with regard to this joint initiative.
Well, first of all, this is the first time that we have partnered up with the Good Deeds Day, and I think it was a phenomenal marriage between the two. Shari Arison has been a strong supporter of the Miami Federation, and of course, part of our mission is community building and community outreach, so it was a perfect match for us. The Super Sunday, as you know, is an opportunity for the community to really, at the most grassroots level, give to the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, and it's a traditional phonathon that people know about. But what made this year even more special was the fact that Shari came and brought her group, and many of our teens, including my own son, I might say, went to the Miami Jewish Health Systems, and they went to Federation Towers, which are two programs that are sponsored by our Greater Miami Federation, and performed and did good deeds, which is what she does. And speaking to her, it has become an international initiative. It's now an annual event in Israel, March 15th in Israel, and then March 17th all around the world.
And of course it is universal, not limited necessarily only to Jewish
Absolutely
people.
not. It's literally throughout the world. Yeah, throughout the world.
Speaking about the Jewish community again, how do you see the challenges facing Jewish life in general at this time in history?
That's a good question. Well, I can speak for our own community of Miami a little bit. We just finished a demographic study, and the findings of which will be revealed in the fall, and we'll be able to digest it and have an impact of what that means for future programming for the Jewish people. But a couple of things. Number one, I definitely see that there is a rising rate of assimilation between Jews and non-Jews, which causes a lot of challenges in terms of fundraising, in terms of continuity of our people. Another piece of that is an issue for us in Miami particularly is that we're a very diverse community. We're not homogenous. We have a huge influx of Jews that come from other countries, which is beautiful, but we need to deal with them and accept their cultural differences and not try to project ours as being the correct one. And that's another, I say, opportunity for us to embrace as a melting pot One of the other things that we're dealing with, and it's not just Miami, a couple of other issues that are really true, that communities have to deal with, fundraising organizations that are the safety net of the community, like the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, or that younger people, the next generation of younger people, are not giving in the same way. The Federation is an annual campaign, and it's an unrestricted annual campaign. And when you give to that Federation, and let's say we raise over $20 million, which we do on an annual basis. Every year we start from zero. When you do that, you're relying on the Federation to make the best decisions about how that money is going to be allocated, whether it's allocated in Miami, whether it's allocated in Israel, or whether it's allocated to other countries around the world. But basically, you are giving confidence in the Greater Miami Jewish Federation that they know where the needs are. The younger generation doesn't necessarily feel that way. They want to touch it more. They want to experience it more, which is a challenge for our organization. Caring for the elderly isn't the flavor of the month, or I fed that woman in Russia on that third floor walk-up, and so it's not important enough anymore because there's something else. And it's a challenge to be able to listen to that generation, to engage that generation, but at the same time to be able to maintain the needs for the community. Another piece of it at the same time is that the older generation, people that have been tried and true donors forever, those people are, unfortunately, they're dying off, and unless they have endowed their gift, which means that unless they have left provisions in their will or an insurance policy or in some other way to perpetuate their gifts, those gifts are lost, and they're not so easily replaceable. So these are all issues that not just our federation, but federations all around the United States are dealing with.
How interesting it is that the Jewish people generally have contributed so enormously to the world, and yet anti-Semitism is still there and perhaps rising. It's strange how in our world today, media seems to single Israel out for criticism in these tendencies for lies by omission and ignore events elsewhere. Lies by omission, what an interesting concept that is.
I wouldn't pretend to be an expert in this field, but I will say that our federation and federations around the country, we are completely apolitical. We have to be because of our 501c3 non-profit status. But what we do is that we try to, through our Community Relations Council, and there are counterparts, as I said, throughout the country, what we try to do is to work with the media to make sure that they are giving accurate coverage. We also keep up our relationships with all of our local and our national politicians. And we have an office in Washington that does the same thing, that is very, very vigilant about these issues. Another piece of it, which isn't exactly related to the media, but it's a very important piece of the work that we do right now, and this happens at the college campuses. It's so difficult for these young people. They come to college, they've gone through whatever they've gone through in high school, and they come there and they're ill-prepared to deal with what's going on the college campus, because the college campuses, not all of them, but a lot of the college campuses, you've got these professors and you've got these kids, and they're very into boycotting Israel and saying all these terrible things about Israelis. And the kids come out and they don't know how to defend themselves. And that's why these programs that we're investing in are so important, like the programs like the Hillel campus, the Hillel campus programs, sending the kids to Israel on the Birthright program. Some of the other teen programs, we have something in this community called the Diller Teen programs. All of these youth programs are so important and have to continue. There has to be almost like a complete continuity from babyhood into college to help these kids prepare. And it's a struggle because when we grew up, you and I, we didn't have to deal with this.
Well, Barbara, what you're doing, what you have done for the Jewish community and what you are doing, you are certainly an inspiration, and I want to thank you very, very much for being on the Shalom Show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you, Richard. And I just have to say that whatever pleasure I got was much more than whatever I gave back to the community.
Well, thank you so very much. This concludes our special program for today. From On Location in Miami, I'm Richard Peritz. Thank you for being with us.